It is a great day to be a Dragon Ball fan because we got some Dragon Ball Super and Dragon Ball Super manga news coming from Toyotaro himself. He had an interview with Victor Uchida, and it looks like we have some confirmations on some of the stuff that we've been thinking about when it comes to the Dragon Ball Super manga and how long this long extended hiatus will continue, as well as remember how there was a poll on the top 5 bouts for Goku, the top 5 fights Goku was in, and he was asking fans on these fights. I was theorizing that this meant that Toyotaro was gathering data because he is about to give us the best Goku fight of all. Well, he actually has some thoughts on the actual fights themselves and what fans rank some of these fights. So I'm bringing to you guys everything that we know about Toyotaro and Dragon Ball Super's manga, and trust me, it's about to get good. But let me ask you guys a simple question. Which one of the Vegeta fights is your favorite? I'm gonna switch it up on you guys. Which fight that Vegeta has been in is your number 1 favorite? Let me know in the comment section below, and as always, huge shout out to the Black Squad. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys for being here every single video. Let's go ahead and jump in. First, let's go over the results for the actual polls themselves, because we have the full results right here, not just the top 5, but the top 10 out of 165 battles. 21,000 people voted, and this was across the globe. It was in the entire world. People were voting on this, and so these are the top 10 fights. Number 10 is Ultra Instinct Goku versus Jiren, which I think is fair. I don't really think that's one of my favorite fights of all. Number 9, Goku versus Grandpa Gohan. I think that number 9 is solid. Number 8, Goku and Gohan versus Cell. That's more of a team-up fight, but I'll give it to them. Number 7, Goku versus Majin Vegeta. This, to me, would be much higher. Much higher. Number 6, Ultra Instinct Goku versus Beast Gohan. This would also be higher for me, but I mean, some of these top ones are pretty outstanding. And then we have number 5, Kaioken Goku versus Vegeta. This one was the one that I was telling you guys would be like my number 1. It was the one that I was most entertained by when I was first watching Dragon Ball. It is really kind of what got me into Dragon Ball to begin with, so this one I think would have been my number 1 spot. Then we have Ultra Instinct Goku versus Moro, and Kid Goku versus Demon King Piccolo, Goku versus Frieza, and Kid Goku versus Jackie Chun. Now, I already told you guys in my last video that I think that the Goku versus Jackie Chun should not be as high as it is. I think that that's kind of one of the fights that I would put toward the end. At least maybe the 7th or 8th spot, I would put maybe Goku versus Majin Vegeta a little bit higher, because that was really the last Goku versus an evil Vegeta type of fight, which is something that we really was really prevalent in the beginning of Dragon Ball. Like, we never really knew if Vegeta was an ally 100% or not. It was always up in the air, and that's what made Majin Vegeta so believable. But ultimately, I am really happy with the way the list has turned out. I think that the fans across the globe really chose some awesome fights. But what are Toyotaro's thoughts on the chosen fights? Let's go ahead and get into that. Victor Uchida and Toyotaro were talking about Ultra Instinct Goku versus Moro, saying that even though it ranked number 4 across the board on the list, they actually took what the results were from the English audience and the English speakers. And when they're talking about English speakers, they're talking about the US. And they said that for English audiences, this was actually ranked at number 2. So that's very interesting to see. I think it is the best fight in Dragon Ball Super overall, because it just had so much of what we wanted out of Ultra Instinct and showcased as one of the best villains in all of Dragon Ball Super, the only contender being Goku Black in my opinion, although that is the only other villain besides maybe Frieza, I guess. But I do think that this is definitely legit. This is one of those fights that really needs to be animated. The one fight that the fandom has been clamoring to be animated this entire time. So I am really I am really happy that the English audience is behind this and backing this, because they do think that this one is so high up. This is intriguing. Upon seeing the top 10 fights, Toyotaro felt the final fight against Majin Buu deserved more appreciation and should have been included in the top 10. The fight ranks number 12 according to the votes, which I do think that that is one of the best fights out there too. So if I had to replace a fight or put that fight in here somewhere, I probably would remove, to be honest, honestly, it'd be so easy to remove Goku versus Grandpa Gohan. Now, it looks like they actually separated the data, and that's kind of why they were talking about different fandoms in Dragon Ball, like over here in the West and over there in the East. Like, they had different scales on where they voted these fights at, because they actually showcased what the English Dragon Ball official site wanted these fights to look like in the top 4. Number 1 being Goku versus Jackie Chun, number 2 being Goku versus Moro, Mirror's Absorb, number 3 being Goku versus Demon King Piccolo, and number 4 being Frieza. Still Jackie Chun at the top, which I don't understand, but you see that Moro definitely gets a little bit higher, and Frieza actually goes back a little bit, which I am surprised. I feel like a lot of fans over here in the US would love that, here in the West love that, but honestly, I do think that it is true that this one is exceptionally long, and it doesn't need to be that long. And even if you look at it from Dragon Ball Kai's perspective or read the manga, it's still a very long fight, and it's just a lot of back and forth. So, yeah, I think that at number 4, it's definitely at the right spot. Maybe number 3. Now they've clarified exactly Toyotaro's role, the current Dragon Ball Super manga creator. So he isn't just the creator of Dragon Ball now. He isn't being knighted that way. It's just the current Dragon Ball Super manga creator. So that is what Toyotaro's role is right now. And honestly, I think it's fantastic. He definitely deserves it. He is one of the best artists in the Dragon Ball game, and I do think being on his own is going to be a new era for Dragon Ball. I think it's going to be a lot darker, a lot edgier. He will probably try to get some jokes in there, like Toriyama does a little bit, but besides that, I do think that we are in good hands. And he says here that he confirms actually that the manga hasn't ended, and that there should be an announcement in the next few months about Dragon Ball Super's manga. To me, that means that they're writing out the rest of the year with no manga, and probably maybe in December we'll get an announcement for the manga returning, maybe a demo or something he's been working on. To me, he would be smart to jump into that Frieza, the Black Frieza arc, something with that race. He would be smart to do that, because that is what all of us are clamoring for, and that would bring numbers back in huge waves, 110%. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. This is going to be Blackscape signing off. Take care, guys.
Subscribe for more content.